I want to talk about this topic of peace of mind because I know that for many Singaporeans, this peace of mind is becoming more and more concerning. And the way I want to put it out there is that peace of mind always comes at a cost. We are talking about a comfort level, a comfort zone. So, in this video, let's discuss three things that peace of mind is going to cost you, whether from investments or staying in your job or paying off your home mortgage, all for that peace of mind. And at the end of the video, I want you to think for yourself whether this peace of mind is worth having to incur the cost of it, because peace of mind will always comes at a cost. And I understand that peace of mind is very soothing, very comfortable, but I hope that after this video you can revisit, okay, then you go and assess your own situation whether this peace of mind is worth it. And let's start with my first piece of discussion, which is low risk capital guaranteed investments versus stocks. Now, when we are talking about low risk capital guaranteed investments, we are talking about some examples like Singapore savings bonds, T-bills, and fixed deposits. All these, they are capital guaranteed either by the government or by the bank institution themselves, offering some sort of capital guarantee that you will never lose money. And I fully understand why this is so attractive, because as Singaporeans or people living in Singapore, we are kind of conditioned to have this loss aversion mindset, which means that when we see losses in our portfolio, it feels more painful than seeing gains from our portfolio. So you want to minimize the loss in order to feel more happy and less sad, correct? So you go for all these capital guarantee instruments like T-bills, like SSBs and fixed deposit, because you really do not like to see loss. And all these assets right now are giving you around 1 to 2% per annum in the current low interest environment. And you feel that it is sort of comfort. At least you see your money growing year by year once you receive that 1 to 2% per annum interest of returns. But you have to also note that the current inflation rate is more than 2% at least year over year. So if your capital guarantee investments cannot even cover the inflation, then what's the point of going into this? Because it is a guaranteed loss of your purchasing value year over year. And let me get on to the other discussion on stocks and equities first. Okay, because I'm not even going into higher risk assets like crypto, like derivatives, all this. I'm just talking about index funds within the stock market, where it is for those with higher risk appetite, but at the same time, you have the potential to earn higher rewards because you're getting market returns of around 8 to 10% if you invest in a globally diversified index fund. And I fully understand it is very uncomfortable, like roller coaster. Every day, you see your stocks and your ETF prices going up and down, and as much as 5 to 10% in the major correction or volatile period. So you feel that you don't want to partake in this because, like I said, loss aversion mindset, and you're very afraid of seeing red color on your portfolio, which means unrealized losses. Therefore, you chose to seek comfort. You prefer all these low risk capital guarantee assets, which is nothing wrong, but you have to understand that this peace of mind comes at a cost. And the cost is the difference between the market return, I would say at least an 8%, minus away your capital guarantee returns of maybe 2%. So that's like a 6% per annum gap that is worth your peace of mind. Is it worth it or not? I cannot answer for you. But you have to realize that unless you have a very large AUM, assets under management, and your risk appetite is very low, you just want to preserve capital, it is really more important at the start to build your capital, to build your AUM, okay? Especially when you have nothing much to lose, when you are young, when you can take more risk, that's where you want to grow your capital. You don't want to keep focusing on capital guaranteed stuff because you will realize that you are just trading emotional comfort for financial upside. So at your stage of life, if you're in your 20s, is emotional comfort more important to you or financial upside more important to you? I'll let you answer for yourself based on your age group. And you realize that this peace of mind is costing you at least 6% per annum. And if your AUM is not even that huge, is that even worth it? So I will leave you with some food for thought that is from the investment perspective. Let's move on to the next discussion, which is staying in your job versus jumping to a new job or starting your business. Because as a fellow Singaporean, I can totally relate where you're coming from. Staying in your job, no, you don't want to take a new opportunity because you realize that your current environment is pretty good. You don't want to jump, you don't want to hop over to a new opportunity because you feel very comfortable and you sleep well in the current role. but you don't want to switch to a new position, either in a new industry or a higher paying role in another company, or even starting your business where you could scale further, because your monthly salary is guaranteed. And this is especially so for salaried employees who are in your comfort zone. But over time, you realize that as a salaried employee, it is not so comfortable, especially for year 2025, where we've seen so many layoffs from even big companies who are supposed to have super strong fundamentals and sustainable cash flow to keep the workforce. But instead, they are firing and laying off people more than ever, especially with the AI revolution and shifting to lower cost of living economies. And I can give you a very specific example because I used to be an accountant, and you realize that accountant is like the most corporate of the corporate job, right? You get your professional qualification, you get professional education, and then you work in a company, but your salary is just capped because there's no way that you can have some form of performance incentive. Like you're just in a cost center, the company to keep you as a headcount is a cost. So they would rather shift this kind of headcount cost to a lower cost of living city, and then cut costs. And all these are very real. So don't just think that all corporate jobs are that stable, especially in the current economy of AI and foreign talents. And that is just the downside. I haven't even talked about the limited upside because your salary is capped to where you perform unless you are in a sales and commission role, where if you close more deals, you can get more commission. No, I'm not talking about all those. I'm talking about cost center roles, okay? So there's really no competition between staying in your own corporate job versus starting a side hustle or a business that has a proof of concept and can scale over time, because that means your income becomes unlimited. The more deals you close, the more projects you take on, the more campaigns that you complete, you can earn more income. And that's exactly why I transitioned from a previous accountant to become a full-time content creator slash business owner right now. And hence, my income is now uncapped depending on how much I want and I choose to work. But please understand that starting a business has its own upsides and downsides as well. The downsides being you're now inseparable from the business. You don't have a steady cash flow coming in every month. Okay, you don't have a steady monthly paycheck. You have to earn your keep, which means that if you slack off, okay, you are not going to get your income the next month. The stress, the uncertainty, and the responsibility is definitely not for all. But I would say that starting a business is one of my most rewarding decisions that I have made. And it may be the same for you because you realize as a corporate accountant, I really don't have any space for creativity. But now I can just transition it to a content creator with all my creativity and unlimited upside. So, do you want to keep your peace of mind and stay in your current job or not? I cannot answer that for you because every job is really different. You may be really happy, but you have to understand that there is a cap upside. And this peace of mind is going to cost you your autonomy in terms of making your own decisions and your scalability. Like, how far do you think you can go if you have an unlimited upside? So the point is, I'm not saying everyone is suitable to start a business, but if you really want to start a business and you just want to try, especially when you are younger and you have less responsibilities and nothing to lose, then I would really encourage you to at least try it out for 1 year. Especially when you start with a side hustle and you start to scale up the revenue, you may want to consider to incorporate it as a business, a private limited company. And that's where Awesome helps with the incorporation, accounting, and compliance. And they are the service that I've been using for years because you can now focus on growing your business instead of stressing over the admin and compliance, which I know is a hurdle for new business owners. And this is especially relevant if you're a freelancer or a side hustler and you're still doing your corporate day job. Just like myself, I started my side hustle as a sole proprietor too. But when I quit my job to go to my YouTube content business full time, I incorporated my private limited company through Awesome because you do not need to struggle through after our website on your own. And in fact, it is actually more cost efficient because Awesome's incorporation plus corporate secretary package is only $504. And if you want the full compliance with accounting and tax all handled for you, it starts from $1,250, which is a huge discount of the usual pricing. And I've registered 2 companies through Awesome, and after many years of using them, I still highly recommend their service. So if you're thinking of incorporating your company and fixing your compliance early, check out my link in the description to get 16% off Awesome services today. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is regards to housing payments because peace of mind is highly relevant. We always talk about whether one, should pay off their housing mortgage early, because once you paid off early, you have no debts. And once you have no debts, you have a peace of mind. You're not afraid of losing your job. And on the other side of the table, we have people who just want to stretch out their mortgage loans to the longest tenor possible, and then they can invest the difference. Okay, because mortgage is considered a low interest good debt to many of these people who can optimize it. Okay, so you have to really understand there are two camps to this, right? Paying off your loan gives you a peace of mind, no more debts, no more worries, and that's worth something emotionally, because they can then move on to do greater things. Like maybe relating to our previous point where we talk about switching jobs, they are more willing to quit their current job and move on to a higher paying role because they can now afford to step out of their comfort zone. But on the other side of the camp, I think you also have to understand that your home loan, your mortgage is actually very low interest. In fact, the lowest interest of all types of loans. And now we are hovering less than 2% per annum for housing loans, whether for HDB or private. In fact, when I last checked interest rates through mortgage broker, it was around the 1.5% range. And you think of it, 1.5% as the cost of debt is very low leh. If you can use the leverage fund of 1.5% to go and achieve some market returns of 8 to 10%, I think it is a worth it investment. But that is to me only, because it still adds on to the mental load and having your risk appetite being at that level. So, like I said, the first thing is to really understand your risk appetite level. How much risk can you afford? The peace of mind. And if you ask me, if you really don't know how to invest, or if you know how to invest but you really don't want to invest, then just paying off your loan early is good for you. But understand that this peace of mind will come at a cost, and it's going to cost you your compounding growth potential. And I even see comments from my previous video that people not wanting to switch from HDB loan to bank loan because they want the peace of mind of 2.6% staying forever. Like, mind you, bank loans are already offering at least 1% discount from HDB 2.6%. And that is a guaranteed savings. So if you don't take advantage of it, then I don't know what else you can take advantage of for that peace of mind. But coming back to the main discussion, I do understand that why some of you really prefer that peace of mind. Because you are grown up in this conditioned environment of loss aversion. And me too, I was brought up in this loss aversion kind of environment where, we are very afraid of making losses, and it just gives us discomfort when we step out of the comfort zone. But you have to understand that at one point in time, you have to grow out of this. You have to step out of the comfort zone, because peace of mind is not free. Okay, it's going to cost you. You are either paying it with time, with opportunity, or with returns. Okay, whether you want to lose it or not is up to you. But I want you to understand at the end of this video, whether it's on investments, on employments, or paying off mortgage, you want to know whether it's worth it and when it is not worth it. So at the end of the day, there's really no right or wrong answer. Even after you watch till the end, you may realize that this peace of mind is worth it, and I'm talking rubbish. And I'm totally okay with it, because we all have different schools of thought. Just be aware that you have assessed the cost versus benefit, then make the best decision for your situation. And don't regret it. But if you really don't know whether you are making a right decision or not, you can join us at over 22,000 members in the Telegram group to ask the question. Then we have this community to help to answer your questions. So if you are following my journey and you also want to be an entrepreneur, starting your own business, you may also want to consider Awesome to incorporate that business. And thanks to Awesome for sponsoring this video. And meanwhile, if you want to know another hard truth of why I don't focus on passive income anymore, then I can refer you to a previous video right here.